Hello viewers, welcome to this session. I'm Dr. Shashi Parmar. Today I'm going to discuss about the planning for the construction of a fish farm for aquaculture purposes. All the aquaculture activities starts with the construction of a fish farm till we could harvest table-sized fish. As you can see in this picture, there is a farm containing various shallow water-filled enclosures or ponds for production of fish. Actually, a fish farm is a commercial facility for raising aquatic animals like fish for human food. So, we can define a fish farm is a site where different types of ponds are constructed for rearing various stages of the selected species on a scientific line. Pond here refers to a small and shallow body of quiet standing water. And the selected species may be of Indian major carps or IMC, may be of common carp, tilapia, or any other fish we wish to culture. We are here talking about rearing of various developmental stages of fish. These developmental stages of fish are spawn, hatchlings, fry, fingerlings, and adult or brood fish. Spawn here refers to the fertilized developing eggs, while just hatched stages are called as hatchlings. Fry is the larval stage with yolk absorbed, or also known as post larvae, while the young ones of large fishes, when measuring only 4 to 12 cm in length, is called as fingerlings, and the fully grown or sexually mature fish is called as adult or brood fish. An ideal fish farm should contain at least 4 different types of ponds, each for a specific purpose. Sometimes the number of ponds may be increased to 6. The first type of pond is breeding or spawning ponds. These are used for breeding of cultivable fishes. These are small ponds where sexually mature or brood fish are placed for spawning. Next is hatching ponds or pits. These are small tanks that are used for hatching of fertilized eggs, and these ponds are provided with continuous slow flowing of water for aeration. For the purpose of hatching, a small cloth tank called as hapa, made of soft cloth or mosquito curtain cloth, is also used for hatching. You can see picture of hatching hapa at the right side of the slide. Nursery ponds are somewhat larger ponds for newly hatched fry. Rearing ponds are also larger ponds used for rearing advanced fry till they grow into fingerlings. Stocking or growing ponds. These are used for the growth of fishes to marketable size. The size of these ponds depend upon the fish species to be cultured. In addition to the above, 2-3 marketing ponds are also constructed in a fish farm, which are used for stocking fish ready for the market. Right from the establishment, important activities at a fish farm is summarized here. Number 1 is selection of appropriate site. It is the first step in the fish farm establishment. Structure and composition of soil as well as sources of water and its quality plays an important role in determining good site for aquaculture. After that, layout plan for the fish farm is prepared, in which designing of various ponds and their drainage system, laboratory, storehouse, watchman huts or residential quarters, chemicals and fertilizers are considered. After that, when the fish farm is established, aquaculture activities could be started with procurement of stocking materials like eggs, spawn, fry, or fingerlings. These stocking materials or fish seed can be obtained from natural resources like rivers, lakes, etc., or can be obtained from the fish seed traders or can be obtained from bund breeding. In an intensive aquaculture, where capital investment is high, quality seed can be produced by induced breeding or by hyperfixation. After that, fertilized developing eggs, or we can say spawn, or tender hatchlings are introduced to the nursery ponds. Hatchlings are then transferred to the rearing pond till they develop into the fingerlings. Growth of fingerlings to table-sized fish is taken place in stocking ponds. Now the table-sized fish needed out of the stocking pond is called as harvesting. After harvesting, fishes are transported to distant or local markets for sale. Selection of a suitable site is the first and foremost step in the design and construction of a fish farm because a suitable site strongly influences the ultimate success of the resulting aquaculture enterprise. Selection of an ideal site is really a challenging task for higher production and efficient management. Besides, knowledge of the local area and experience coupled with scientific and engineering expertise is also required. No site possesses all the desired characteristics. Topography may change from place to place, making it very difficult to formulate a standard approach for the site selection. However, the basic criteria for selecting a good site should be to obtain maximum production at the minimum cost of construction and management. There are some factors that are to be looked into prior to the actual commencement of the process of the site selection are: number 1 is the feasibility of culture, that is, whether the culture of the proposed species in that locality is really profitable. Number 2, economy factor, which include whether the water management is within our reach and what about the cost of construction. If we are satisfied after analyzing the above factors, then we may look for a suitable site in the consultation with engineers and biologists. The criteria for selecting a site mainly depends upon the species to be cultured and the physiological requirement of the species, and the most important, our targeted production level. There are some factors which are to be considered in order to select the best possible site for a fish farm. Topography is one of them. Topography refers to the changes in the surface elevation of the natural ground, that is, whether the ground is flat or sloping or undulating or hilly. The best area for fish pond is where the ground is flat or where there is a slight slope. The optimum slope is between 0.5 to 1%. The ground slope shouldn't be more than 2% because it needs construction of the high and costly embankments. When selecting a site, preference should be given to the locations where the gravitational flow may be used to fill the ponds. Just because gravity flow is economical and it is also advantageous to drain the ponds by gravity flow. Sites with excessive and undulating topography should be avoided because a lot of cut and fill would be needed during the construction, which will increase the cost of construction. Site with average elevation lower than the mean low water should be avoided because pond cannot be drained properly. Areas covered with large trees and vegetations should be avoided as cleaning of the site will be difficult and will increase the cost also. While selecting a site for a fish farm, appropriate soil investigations are very essential. The soil not only influences the productivity and quality of overlying water, but also the constructions of dikes. Maintenance of the required water level is also greatly affected by characteristics of soil. Gravel and sandy soils have poor water retaining capacity and a high rate of seepage also, therefore unsuitable for a fish farm site. Thus, soil of fish pond must have the ability to hold water. Sandy clay to clayey loam soils are considered suitable for a fish farm. The fine textured soils like clay, clay loam, silty clay loam, and sandy clay are most suitable for the pond because these soils provide a greater surface area. Also, they can absorb more nutrients and retain and release them for organic production. They are also less subject to damage and erosion. Like water, pH of soil is also important. because it influences the inorganic transformation of soluble phosphate and controls the absorption and release of iron of essential nutrients at a soil water interface. Both highly acidic pH less than 5.5 and highly alkaline pH more than 8.5 of the soil are undesirable for a fish pond. Moderately alkaline range pH 7.5 to 8.5 is considered fruitful to give average yields of fish. Regular supply of water to the farm site is the prime requirement. Depending upon the nature of occurrence, water sources can be classified into three groups: groundwater resources, number two, surface water resources, and the miscellaneous resources. Springs and wells are perennial water resources, which are definitely the best sources of water for fish farm. Groundwater resources are more dependable and uniform, having constant water temperature throughout the year. They are also pollution free and also free from wild fish and predatory insects. But some disadvantages are also there, like groundwater may contain toxic gases like H2S, methane, carbon dioxide, and may have high concentration of dissolved iron and other metals. Groundwater has less dissolved oxygen, thus, it must be aerated. Streams, rivers, reservoirs, and springs are surface water resources. Surface waters are often subjected to environment regulations that may change from time to time. Permission may be required before surface water are diverted for aquaculture use. Rivers and streams are subject to variations in flow and the availability during dry periods may be limited. Surface waters may be carefully evaluated and thoroughly analyzed before use, since they are subjected to contaminations and often carry high silt loads. They may also contain wild fish, parasites, waterborne predators, and disease organisms. Surface water must be filtered before use to remove these constituents. Surface water sources also require pumping and thus cost of pumping is generally very high. Rainwater and cycled water can be also useful in fish farm. Rainfall can be collected and in tanks and stored for later use. Rainwater and cycled water can be also used in the fish farm. Rainfall can be collected in tanks and stored for later use. However, rainwater and cycled water can't be dependable sources. Only they can be considered as supplementary sources. Rainwater is generally be of good quality but is somewhat acidic and poorly buffered. Fish pond waters prepared with a mixture of well water and rainwater are usually of good quality for aquaculture purposes without much treatment other than the aeration. Besides topography, soil, and water sources, other factors are to be considered also. For example, meteorological parameters like rainfall and its distribution, rate of evaporation, temperature, winds, storms, etc., have a great role in the growth of fish food organisms as well as in the designing of farm elements. A thorough hydrometeorological survey of the proposed area should be conducted, and engineering data for the last 15 to 20 years should be collected. The major data to be collected are average annual rainfall, mean monthly rainfall, maximum precipitations in 24 hours, wind direction, maximum and minimum temperature, relative humidity, etc. Next is availability of fish seed. The availability of fish seed of the proposed species for culture can be obtained from natural resources or hatchery. For this, a seed resource survey can be conducted near the site. If adequate quantity of seeds are not available from the natural resources, a hatchery should be proposed in the project at the suitable location. Next is information regarding socio-economic condition. Information regarding socio-economic conditions of the locality is important for managing farm efficiently. Details regarding seasonal availability of laborers, professionals like biologists, skilled operators, local customs, traditions, etc. should be gathered. It would be unwise to select a site where industrial developments may cause air and water pollutions. Sites should have freshwater resources nearby for drinking, cooking, and other daily activities. Also, the availability of electric power, proximity to substations, and transformers are also be considered. Next is transportation and marketing facility. Market with cold storage and processing plants should be closely located. The species selected for culture should be easily marketed locally or of export commodity to fetch better return. Next is social and political factor. Local restrictions, government regulations, security, and social amenities at the site should also be given due importance during the site selection. Technical guidance from fishery departments or private consultant is also needed to solve problems like excessive seepage, soil erosion, fish diseases, etc. Next, infrastructure facilities. Facilities such as approach road, waterways, proximity to market, public conveyance systems such as bus stand, railway stations or airport are to be considered. To encourage aquaculture development, many agencies like FFDAs, BFDA, MPDA, etc. extend financial assistance in India in form of subsidy. Also, financial institutions such as nationalized banks, NABARDs, etc. in India extend financial help to entrepreneurs. Insurance facilities should be available to insure the farm against losses due to theft, disease, or other natural calamities. That's all about this session. If you have any query regarding this topic, please write into the comment box. Thank you so much.